It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live Q&A video. This is Q&A number 203. We're going to be talking about Season 10, Episode 9 of The Walking Dead, the mid-season premiere, which was called Squeeze. We're also going to talk about the upcoming episode, Season 10, Episode 10, which is called Stalker. There's going to be tons of questions, I'm sure, about these two episodes, and maybe specifically the cliffhanger that we saw at the end of last episode, which, if you think about it, it's like two back-to-back cliffhangers, right? 10:08 and 10:09. Anyway, so let's jump right into it. As always, let me know if there's any issues with the audio, any lagging on the stream or anything like that. Without further ado, let's jump right into the questions. Oh, by the way, I'll talk about that at the end of the stream. I was gonna make an announcement about like the channel and the videos that are gonna be coming up, but we'll talk about that at the end of the stream. KingCan214, hi, how are you? Glad you could join. KingCan, and then you ask, someone has to die, Connie or Magna? Yes, absolutely. I agree that at least one of them will die. If they don't, that defeats the purpose of the cliffhanger. And that makes the cliffhanger even more absurd, in a way. If you're asking for me to choose who would I prefer to die, I would say Magna, and for Connie to survive. Only because Connie not only is more of an interesting character, but she's doing more to help. All Magna has done is steal from them, talk shit about the characters, and make things difficult for them, you know? She hasn't really done much. Yes, she did kind of, in a way, redeem herself at the end of last episode, or close to the end of last episode, right before she was trapped or killed, when she went to kill the Whisperers. So yes, you could say she, in a way, redeemed herself, but I still would prefer Connie to survive over Magna. Animated Alex, I thought Jerry was a goner. Yeah, after the mid-season finale, I did as well. Especially, or not after the mid-season finale, but after the trailer. But the more time passed, the more things came out. I'm like, something is off. Like, in the trailer, they really wanted you to think that he dies. That was kind of a red flag. And then, obviously, by the time we got to the image that was released that had Jerry in it, I had no doubt that he was obviously going to make it. But even to that point, before that, I wasn't 50-50. I was like, I'm 80% sure he's going to make it. You know what I mean? But yes, immediately after the trailer came out, I did kind of think, wait a minute, did they just show Jerry die? You know what I mean? But that was obviously intended and it was a targeted trailer, which makes that even more ridiculous that they revealed, or not revealed, but they spoiled that he didn't die by that image that they released. Animated Alex, the CRM and Commonwealth will make the Saviors look like a village. Yeah, I mean, more CRM than Commonwealth, I would say. Yes, Commonwealth to an extent, but comparing CRM to Commonwealth, CRM is just so big based on what we know. We haven't really seen anything about CRM, just their soldiers. But even with that, we know the scope and we know how big they are. So I would say more CRM than Commonwealth, but yeah, even Commonwealth compared to Saviors, absolutely. KingCan214, let's not talk about Negan and Alpha, about their scene. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that scene. And the more I think about it, the more I think I know why I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan because it didn't work the way they did it. Like, they had that scene with Negan, which was great. I loved that. But then they followed that up with something that didn't need to be there. Maybe they could have had a scene like this later, but putting that scene with Negan saying what he said, like his dialogue, it just didn't work. Like the combination didn't work. And let's not forget, it was out of character for Alpha to do this. Like, maybe if they showed her soft side a little bit earlier on, or if they did show that she does kind of have these human tendencies in a way, it would have been okay. But because they didn't do any of that, it was out of the blue, it was out of character, and I just don't see that it fit, especially with the dialogue that Negan had. So following that up, I don't think that it fit. Animated Alex, I thought it would have been funny if Beta interrupted Negan and Alpha. That would have been one way to make that scene more interesting, absolutely. King Kensu 14, Apatha baby. You mean Alpha? I don't know what you mean there. Apatha. I don't know what that is. Let me know. And then you have a mind exploding emoji, I think. Or I think that's what it is. Animated Alex, I think after tonight's episode, Negan wishes he was back in that cell. LOL. Yeah. Someone... I saw two very funny memes. One was the scene with Negan back in season 7, I think, when he's like, I'm hoping for a little freaky deaky. When he was at Alexandria looking at the tapes, remember the video camera? Someone memed, like put a meme together. They edited that with that Negan and Alpha kiss, and it was like, was he what he was thinking, the freaky dicky? So that was funny. Also, there was another one where it's the scene with Kelly, sticking her head out of that hole, and then immediately after they edited it and showed Alpha and Negan, and they had Kelly go back down, so that was funny too. But yeah, I mean, we still don't know how Negan is into this. Like how much of it is an act, how much of it is real. So there's that too. King Can 214, what is Alpha, or what if Alpha has a baby? I mean, I don't think she would, but yeah. Mind blown. Oh, you mean with Negan? No, that there's a lot of plot holes with that, both in the story and for the audience looking at the story. I don't know if that makes sense. There's lots of holes that could come up, like if they end up doing that. It would be shocking, absolutely, but it would take away from what they're doing, what they've done so far with the Whisperers. King Kentu 14, yes, she did. I don't think it was just a kiss. I think it led to more than that, absolutely. I'm seeing red on the stream. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, now we're good, I think. Hopefully we're good. If you missed it, make sure to go watch my Things You May Have Missed and Easter eggs for 1009. There were some Easter eggs from the comics in that episode, some of which I thought were borderline spoilers in a way. But go watch that if you have not and if you're interested. I'm still contemplating whether I should continue it or not, but we'll see. I mean, for the next 8 episodes or next 7 episodes, I'm probably gonna still do it. But in season 11, it's gonna depend. I'm gonna see how much demand there is for that type of video, for Easter eggs and things you may have missed and Easter eggs. So we'll see what happens. But let me know what you think. Like, watch that video and let me know what you think, because I did do those videos in season 7. I think season 7. I think maybe I started doing it for season 8 too, but I didn't continue. But it was received well back then. Like, it was popular. So I'm wondering if I should bring it back and continue it. But right now we'll just test it out. We'll do it for season 10 second half to see what happens and how it goes. Animated Alex, if Alpha had a baby, then it would die from walkers probably. I don't think she would even want it. You know what I mean? Remember what she did with that other whisperer? Asking her to leave her baby. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see Alpha really being into that kind of thing. Animated Alex, you mentioned the dumpster ash in your last video. All I have to say is dumpsters worked for Glenn. LOL. Yeah. I was gonna actually, speaking of which, I was actually gonna do something, but in a way, I wanted to troll you guys a little bit. But I'm like, you guys are, or people may not have the same sense of humor, and I may get a lot of people being disappointed about it. I'm thinking that it's clickbait or whatever. But what I was gonna do is, I was actually gonna, as the thumbnail, put that scene with the arrow that I have, just like I had in that video, and like still have that in the first part of the video, like the very first thing. But then right before I say it's a dumpster, I end it, and then like put the rest in the actual video. So I was gonna do that, but I'm like, people are gonna think it's clickbait. They're not gonna understand that it's just fun. They're not gonna have the same sense of humor. So I decided not to do it last minute. Like, I had it all worked out, but right before I published and I saved my video or saved my project and wanted to publish, I'm like, I probably shouldn't do this. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do originally, but yeah, I decided not to do it. Planet Earth, not sure Alpha's gonna make it much longer. I think she'll go all the way to 10, 15-ish, 14, 15-ish. I don't think she's gonna make it all the way to the finale, but it may happen. We'll have to see. But yeah, this half the season is her last half season. She's not coming back in season 11. She's gonna die. That's a given. But how far she survives in the second half of season 10, that's the big question. Animated Alex, that would be a dark scene if she sacrifices her baby. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But what's the difference, really, between that and someone else's baby? It's the same kind of thing. Yes, it would be a little darker, absolutely, but I don't think that it changes too much in terms of who Alpha is. And she gave up Lydia, and Lydia, yeah, she wasn't a baby, but she was her daughter, you know? Like she says, my daughter. That was a terrible accent. Anyway, Lydia was her daughter, and she let her go. So, is that much different? Maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't change who Alpha is as a character. And her sense of, or what she does for survival. Like how, the extent that she goes to survive. Planet Earth, I haven't watched the show, but I saw snippets of the show. You mean this season or this half season? I mean, I would say watch it. I mean, if you compare it to season 9, it's not as good, but I think it's still worth it to watch it. Absolutely. I don't think watching snippets does it justice, to be honest. Animated Alex, Carol needs to get her shit together. She constantly going to get people killed. Yeah, absolutely. For people that say this wasn't Carol's fault, all I tell you is you're in denial. I mean, it's just a show, who cares? But just generally speaking, if you don't think that we should blame this character in this show, it's just a show, but still, then I think you're in denial. Yeah, we love the character. She's my favorite, one of my favorites. She is still my favorite in a way, but it's beginning to feel like she's a liability to the group. The reason Carol became my favorite is because she constantly saved the survivors. She was constantly there for them. I didn't fall in love with this character because she acts on emotion all the time. Yes, we don't want her to never have any emotions, but we don't want her to act on emotion in a way, or on her emotions in a way that it is starting to hurt the people close to her. You know what I mean? Planet Earth? No, just this last episode. Oh, okay. I think it's still worth it to watch. Honestly, I enjoyed it the second time I watched. I watched it twice. I enjoyed it the second time a little bit more. And maybe the reason is because I watched it on a bigger screen and it wasn't as dark. And I had, a little bit of kind of not biased, but I knew where the story was going, so I was paying more attention to the details a little bit. So I enjoyed it the second time around a little bit more, but I still think that it's definitely worth watching it once. There's like 2 or 3 particular scenes that I think make it worth it. There's one with Connie, there's one with Magna, there's one with Jerry, I think. Yeah, Jerry. There's one with Carol and Daryl together, like 2 scenes specifically. And Kelly. So there's moments that I absolutely enjoyed. And there's moments that make it worth watching. But overall, the episode was okay. It wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't bad. It was okay. But it could have been a lot better. Riptide reacts. I missed one. Yeah, I missed one. Rebecca Mendez. I'm excited for this next episode. Yeah, me too. One thing that I'm really excited for this episode is to see the Whispers more of a threat in a way that it's in your face. And what I mean by that is, you know how they talk about like it's a Cold War, you know? I'm glad that we're finally moving towards direct battles. You could say that the Pike scene was direct, yes, absolutely, but after that, it was like we didn't have a lot of direct conflict, right? Not direct. Yes, that Carol Alpha showdown near the beginning of the season was also close to like a direct conflict, but it wasn't like this, you know what I mean? So I'm glad and I'm looking forward to actually seeing the survivors versus the Whispers, direct conflict between them, you know? Riptide reacts. Do you think Carol will stop making stupid decisions? I love her character, but she's definitely hurting the group right now. I absolutely agree with everything you said. And to answer your question, I think it could go both ways. They could be setting it up so that she continues on this trend until she gets herself killed, which I hope they don't do. Or it could go another direction where her action or the consequence of her actions finally get to her, and she finally sees what's happening, and she finally, it puts some sense into her, and maybe hopefully it brings her closer to the group again, and makes her see that she should work with the survivors to defeat the Whispers. It goes back to what Daryl said. We fight for our future, not for revenge. And I think that was powerful right there. And I think that Carol really needs to understand that. And I hope this makes her understand. Yeah, we understand that she is going through grief, but who hasn't at this point in that world? You know? Look at Michonne. She lost Rick, or Carl, and then Rick. So, you could make the point that Carol and Michonne are going through similar things. Michonne is not doing something to put the group in danger. She could have very easily made or done something when she was looking for Rick to put everyone else in danger. But she didn't do that. So I think that shows the difference. And I think that you can't really justify Carol's actions by saying that she's going through grief, because Michonne went through that same grief. Other characters have. So that doesn't justify what she's doing. And I hope that this finally puts some sense into her and she starts acting rationally. Animated Alex, I'm glad Daryl being as supportive as he can. Yeah, I think at the end of last episode, he was close to just giving up on her, but maybe Carol's reaction kind of helped Daryl have some hope in a way that she'll come back again. Rebecca Mendes, I can't think of any direct conflict so far besides the Beta Daryl fight. This second half season should pick up though. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. The Daryl Beta fight I forgot about. That was also one of the closest direct conflicts between the two groups. And I think this next episode, Alpha and Daryl again, or not again, Alpha and Daryl this time, the fight between them is another instance of a direct conflict. But I think it's going to be much, much more than that, like we said, because Beta and the Whispers are going to attack Alexandria. And then the episode after that is going to be the Hilltop attack. So we're starting to see a lot of these, or a lot more of these direct skirmishes, which I'm absolutely glad that we are getting and can't wait for it. Planet Earth, I love this show so much. I'm getting a little freaked out freaked out about the real life virus. It's so weird. Yeah, it's funny because we were joking around and I don't know who it was. They're like, you cover The Walking Dead so much that you might actually have to cover the real virus now. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, it is scary to think about, but I think it's interesting. I don't want to get into that, but I think there's this, I don't know how to say this, but it's a little bit of paranoia in a way, but at the same time, it's serious. So I think those two mixed together makes it so that people are freaked out, but I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I don't think it's as good as people think it is. I think that there is reason to worry, but I think it's a thing where, it's not something that should freak you out enough where you change your way of life in a way. But at the same time, you should be worried enough where you are trying to think about what you're doing and try to act in a way where you know that the risks are going to be minimized in a way, if that makes any sense. Animated Alex, Daryl can hold his own against Beta and come off clean, but he struggles against a bald woman. LOL. We don't know if he's gonna struggle. I mean, it looks like he will, and yes, it is a little. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? But yeah, I see where you're coming from. Absolutely. Rebecca Mendez, PPE gets some Lysol. It's said to kill the virus. Rebecca Mendez, Alex, Planet Earth. Thank you, Rebecca. I just need to calm back down. Riptide reacts. Death predictions for 1010. I have a bad feeling. I don't think any main character is going to die, but I think a lot of background characters are going to die. But I don't think any main characters will die. Rebecca Mendez, watching this late night news is enough to get everyone very riled up. Late night news. What late night news? Let me know which news you're talking about. Rebecca Mendez, Alex, the Alpha Daryl fight will be a little amusing. Oh, you've watched then? A little amusing. In a good way or in a bad way? Like, are we gonna be frustrated or are we gonna be like, that's cool? Which one is it? While we're waiting for more questions, I do want to kind of say or let you know what videos are coming up. I think I have 2 videos planned before our next Q&A on Sunday. So 2 videos. One is going to be just looking at the pictures for the next episode. The other is going to be related to Lydia. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So those 2 videos are coming. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to have our next Q&A. And then obviously when the episode airs, I'm going to watch it, react to it. So that'll be coming. And then the trailer breakdown. But yeah, after that, it's the same cycle. Like whatever you saw for 1009 last week, you'll see for 1010 next week. Same kind of set of videos that are going to be coming out. King Ken 214, coronavirus, what about it? Planet Earth, I hope I didn't miss anything or something with Gamma. I hope I didn't miss something with Gamma. Last episode, no, you didn't miss much. Alpha realized there was a spy. Negan told her it was Gamma. Gamma left because she knew what was coming. That was pretty much what happened with Gamma. Noah Jinx 75. Hey Ash, how are you? Glad you could join, Noah Jinx. Rebecca Mendez, the virus coverage. Oh yeah. That's all over the news. I mean, it's hard to miss it. But it's not just last night. It's been every night there's something, or every day there's some sort of news about that. Riptides reacts. What are some of your favorite episodes so far in season 10? For me, definitely 5, 7, and 9. Let me think. I don't remember the episode numbers and what happened in that episode, so let me just look at it quick. Whoops. I'm just looking at, whoa, what happened there? Sorry. I'm just looking at the pictures for those episodes to kind of remind myself what happened. 1001 was cool. You said season 10, right? Yeah. 1001 was cool. And the fire, the space thing, all of that made it interesting and cool. What else? 10:02 I loved. Was a great episode. 10:03 was okay. 10:04 I liked a lot. Or yeah, I liked a lot. 10:05 I absolutely loved. So yeah, 10:05, 6. I would say 1, 5, 6 were my favorites so far. 1, 5, and 6. What was 7? Yeah, 7 was good too. I mean, 7 and 8 were heavily focused on Sadiq, and I didn't like his story. And Dante, I didn't like their story, and I've talked about that before, like why, but I would say season 10, episode 1, only because it was unique. Episode 5, yes. 7 was good, but 6, I think 5 and 6 is the one that I would say. So 1, 5, and 6 are my 3. Noah75, do you think Daryl will be able to get in the cave and look for Magna and Connie? I think he's going to try, but I think when he finds the opportunity to follow the whispers, I think he's going to choose that over going into the cave. And I don't think he'll be able to. Like, I think he'll try, but he's not going to find another... he's not going to be able to right away. And then he's going to see Alpha, and he's going to be sidetracked a little bit. Animated Alex, I'm going to go, Ash. See you next stream. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next stream. NoahJing75, I think Daryl may try to get inside, but Alpha spots him, and then they square off, and Daryl misses his chance to get inside the cave. That's another good prediction. That's a possibility too, yeah. I didn't really think about that. Because what I thought about in my prediction video that I talked about was Daryl just follows Alpha. But it'll make more sense for it to go down the way you described, where Alpha sees him and, he's not able to actually get in because Alpha's after him. Rebecca Mendez, Gamma looks to be wanting to join our group. What are the chances any other Whisperers can be brought in? Gamma, I think, she has no choice at this point. But yeah, I think she's going to try to help and get him to trust her so she could join the survivors. Any other Whisperers can be brought in. It's difficult. Some of them are gone, like really gone. We've seen several of them so far. But I do think there are some that could be taken in. They're just surviving, But I think it's going to be tricky to differentiate between the Whisperers that can integrate in the community and those that are going to cause problems. Dante is a classic example. After everything that he saw inside Alexandria, after everything that he went through at Alexandria, he still was loyal to Alpha. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, the Whisper that they put in the cell earlier in the season, the one that Dante had to kill. That's another classic example. Noah Jink 75 Q&A, do you think Gamma will die in this upcoming episode? I can see Beta killing her against Alpha's orders, but I'm 50-50 on her dying and not dying in 10-10. I agree. I think there's a 50% chance that they're going to kill her. There's a 50% chance that she's going to integrate into the community and help them. Also, there's a chance that she might not die now, but she'll die before the end of the season. That's also another possibility. Mario 3, I've been busy last couple of weeks. Walking the 3 new trailer was a blast. Yeah, it was very cool. It actually got me a lot more excited about The Walking Dead World Beyond than the other trailers did. Mario 3, by the way, how are you doing, guys? I'm doing great. How about you? Rebecca Mendez, who do you think the next death will be? The next big death. Next big death. I mean, if you're not talking about big death, any death, I would say a lot of background Alexandrians are gonna die next episode. But if you're talking about the next big death, I would say I'm leaning towards Gabriel. Or Rosita, one of the two. Rebecca Mendez and Will Mario and yourself. Noah Jinx 75. I don't understand why people are shocked about Alpha using her shotgun. If I were Alpha and dealing with someone like a Daryl, you would bring a gun to a knife fight. That's a good point. But there's going to be consequences to her using the shotgun. And it's going to defeat the purpose of having a mask. That's the big thing. Noah Jinx 75, I wonder if Alpha will actually fire her gun in her fight with Daryl. I don't think she will. First, I thought she did in the trailer, but looking back, she's just knocking on the door with it to distract the walkers, to attract them towards them, so she could direct them towards Daryl. That's what happens, or that's what's happening. I don't think she's actually going to use her gun. And then it's hand-to-hand combat. I think it's going to be a hand-to-hand combat from the get-go. I don't think she's going to be using her gun unless she absolutely has to. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, do you think Carol can be redeemed or is she too far gone? She can be redeemed, absolutely. I don't think Carol is... I mean, I don't think they would do that to this type of character, you know? Having her be too far gone and just dying or something. I think she'll come back for sure. This might even be set up for when Carol helps the group again, maybe like she did during the Saviors thing. Or no, not the Saviors. Termites. The Termites thing. They could be setting it up for her to do that again, and it's more rewarding now because if she was doing this without them having showed or without them doing what they did with Carol, then it would have been like, all right, you know, it's Carol. But this way, it's more rewarding because we're like, heck yeah, that's the Carol that we missed. That's the Carol that we want. You know what I mean? Mario 3, I've heard rumors that CRM soldiers will appear on a helicopter by the end of the season. I bet it has to do with Michonne. Yeah, I've heard those rumors too, and I think that they have to connect to Rick or Michonne. I mean, in some way. I've also heard rumors that Virgil is just like Jadis, and she's trading people, and she's gonna trade Michonne, and she's gonna try to give them to the CRM helicopter, to the CRM group, but Michonne is gonna escape. She's gonna fight her way out, but in the process, she's gonna find out about the CRM more and about Rick and the fact that he's alive. If they do that, it's a little repetitive, to be honest, but if that's the only way you could take Michonne out of the story in a way that makes sense, I'm all for it. Noah Jinx 75, Carol has pissed everyone off. Michonne and Judith are tied for my favorite characters after that Carol has pulled in the last few episodes. After what Carol has pulled. Yeah, at this point, if you ask me who are my favorites, I would say Michonne, Daryl, Negan and Daryl tied. So Michonne, actually, Daryl and Negan tied for first place and second, and then Michonne, and then Father Gabriel, and then Carol. Yeah, she was first at the start of season 10. Carol. She's been pushed back. Noah Jinx 75. However, if Carol does redeem herself, she'll be back to being my favorite again. Yeah, same here, same here. Maybe she won't be number one yet for me. Depends, but I think she'll be pushed up a little bit more. Noah Jinx 75, I hope Carol doesn't pull the same leaving BS like she did in season 7, where she was completely sidelined and misused. If they do that, then I would start to worry about where the story is going again and what the showrunner is doing again. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A, I don't know, but I'm a huge Kelly fan. She kind of annoyed me in the last week's episode. She's a weak character in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan, you say. Kelly, I think she's not supposed to be a strong character. She is a great character for who she is. Like, if you compare her to someone like Carol and Michonne, she's absolutely not a stronger character. The Carol thing is a little tricky at this point, but generally speaking. But if you compare her to someone like maybe the average Alexandrian, the average Hilltopper, she's a strong character, and I think she serves the purpose she's supposed to serve. Noah Jinx 75. Oh, did you also hear the news about Michonne's final episode was swapped and it will now be 10:13 instead of 10:12? Yeah, I did read that. I was confused. Like, why? Why would you do that, you know? Not sure why they did it, but makes no difference. It's just a week, you know? 1 week of a difference doesn't make a huge difference in a way. Mario 3, I will be straight mad if if nothing comes out with. Wait, I will be straight mad if nothing comes out when Gabriel and Negan helicopter storyline. Yeah, I hate that too. Like, they never mentioned that. It's like, was Negan blind? Did he not see the helicopter? Did he not think that was bizarre? Did he not bring it up? Did he not talk about it? Did he not say that Jadis knew about the helicopter? Same with Gabriel. And if he did, Negan and Gabriel, wouldn't that be a giveaway? I mean, Jadis and Rick disappeared at the same time. If Michonne and anyone else found out that this was going on with the helicopter and Jadis, they would put 2 and 2 together. You know what I mean? So I absolutely agree with you that I'm mad already in a way that they haven't addressed that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they will address it, to be honest. Rebecca Mendez, do you think that we'll get closure to Magna and Yumiko's story? Will Magna make it out? I'm leaning towards no. Connie, I think, will survive. She'll make it, but I don't think Magna will. And I think one of the key reasons why they even brought that into the story with the Magna Yumiko situation and how they left it off to make this even more impactful and to make it even more, or hit us even more, you know? So I doubt that Magna's gonna have her closure with Yumiko, and I don't think that Yumiko and Magna are gonna have another moment together. Rebecca Mendez, agree Mario. Noah Jinx 75, we might not see Magna and Connie until the final episodes. If they aren't in the cave and we don't see their bodies, then it's a mystery. Yeah, I here's the thing. I'm hoping we'll get a resolution at the end of the season. I would hate it. I would really hate it if they don't reveal it until season 11. That would be terrible. That would be a terrible thing to do. And I don't think there's a good way to explain it even in the story. Where were they? Why didn't they come back? What happened? Why did it take so long, you know? Planet Earth, for hearing impaired, she had to be strong to survive that long. I mean, we don't have any blind characters, right? Well, Gabriel is blind in one eye, but yeah, we don't have an anyone that's completely blind. But yeah, I completely agree with you that Connie is a great survivor. She has to be, and Kelly as well in a way. Um, like they have an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. And I think it it really shows how strong they are, more Connie than Kelly, to have survived this long with their situation. Noah Ching 75, I thought 1009 was Kelly's best episode because I liked the fact that she said we have to go because Magna and Connie can't be saved if they aren't being swarmed by whispers and walkers. I absolutely loved that. I mean, at first, I'm like, it's out of character for her, but looking back at it, watching that episode again and like thinking back at it, I think it shows the progression in her character and it shows that she's grown as a character, you know? So I absolutely loved that moment. Rebecca Mendez, I feel like Kelly was starting to find her strength last episode, especially at the end. Yeah, absolutely. Epic Zombie Killer, I don't know. I just feel some of her lines are really cringy, like how she delivered the line about how we can't save them if we're dead. It was cringy how she said it. Like the idea behind it, I loved. Yes, I agree that maybe it could have been executed a little different, but I like the idea behind that moment. Mario 3, or maybe she already told Michonne, but we haven't got to this part still. Here's the thing, and I'm assuming you mean the helicopter thing. Here's the thing. She should, or Negan and Gabriel should have told Michonne that same day when they found out what happened to Rick. That should have been a conversation that they had the moment that this all happened. If they show that they talk about it now, it's still not going to explain why they didn't talk about it before. If they show it and it's a flashback, still, if they did know about it, can you explain how they didn't put two and two together? You know? So there's a lot of plot holes that could essentially come up if they have it so that they already did talk about it. And if they have it so that they talk about it now, it still raises the question, why didn't they have this conversation before? Noah Jink 75, well, you said to keep in mind that Kelly was grieving over the potential loss of Magna and Connie. You have to keep in mind, yeah, and that's what makes it a little tricky, because if you keep that in mind, then it's a little out of character for her to not want to jump back into the cave and get them out. So it's a tricky one. I see where you're coming from, though. Epic Zombie Killer, yeah, I get that she's not my favorite character. I prefer Connie over Kelly. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Noah Jink 75, let me just restart the stream because it seems like we're getting a little bit of a lag. Alright, we should be back. Hopefully that resolves some of the lag that we get. Where was I? Noah Jink 75, I think that Magna will make it out, but there's a chance that she and Connie could get separated from each other. Maybe Daryl only finds Connie and Magna's nowhere to be found. That's another possibility, but I think given that what they did was a cliffhanger, I prefer for them to kill someone. Because if they don't, then it defeats the cliffhanger and it takes away from what that cliffhanger was. You know what I mean? It makes it so that there was no consequence and it was just shock factor. It was just a shock factor thing, you know what I mean? Or something to create shock and to surprise fans, but without any actual consequence. You know what I mean? Rebecca Mendez, Jerry is beyond strong, lifting the cave. Yeah, he's the Hercules of the apocalypse. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, I feel if Connie dies, then Daryl and Carol relationship will be strained permanently, unfortunately. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that, which is why I think Connie's not going to die. She's going to make it out. Noah Jake 75, I think even though Daryl and Michonne are done with looking for Rick's body, I feel like they don't, or they know in their minds that he's alive because there was no body, and that's the key rule in the Walking Dead universe. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Daryl and Michonne have or accepted that Rick is dead. I think they just have accepted that they should move on. I think that's really the key difference. Noah Jing 75. Also, can we just say that Walking Dead scarred everyone with Alpha and Negan scene in the woods? Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I talked about that earlier in the stream. I wasn't a fan for many reasons. But yeah, it was definitely weird and creepy. A weird and creepy and what's the word I'm looking for? Disturbing scene. Rebecca Mendez, if one or both die, it may wake Carol to what she is doing. I think even one will, like even one dying will do that. Two dying will be even more, you know? Epic Zombie Killer. And one thing I want to mention, I talked about that in other videos, but I almost compared this scene and this story to the Glenn and Abe death. You know? I almost do that. Or I'm almost leaning towards that, making that comparison. And the reason for that is when Abraham died, Daryl did something which got Glenn killed. And he has to carry that, or had to carry that with him. And I think even to this day, that hurts him deep. Abraham's death wasn't really Daryl's fault, or it wasn't Daryl's fault at all, but Glenn's death was. And I think it's the same thing. If one die or both die, doesn't matter. These deaths or this death will impact Carol, and she's going to carry that for the rest of her life. And I think it will impact her decisions going forward. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. I know Daryl is close to Carol, but I do like how he angrily pointed at Carol at the end of episode 9. It definitely said something, or says something. Yeah, the way I read that was, you know what you did? And that's all I'm going to say. You know? That point, I think, had 1,000 words, but all with one final message. Carol, get your shit together. So I thought that was powerful. Noah Jig 75, Alpha does the dirty with them after she pushed them into the Whisperer Piss and shit earlier on, like, what the fuck? How unnecessary. Yeah. But does Alpha really have standards? Keep that in mind. Does Alpha have any standards when it comes to that kind of stuff? I mean, maybe, because she did say they keep that at the edge of the camp because of hygiene. So maybe she's not as gross as we think, but does she really have a lot of standards? Noagic 75, I hope Lydia turns up again because eating worms and the grass will not be enough for her to keep going. Yeah, I mean, did you not see her last episode? She was in the background eating worms. You didn't see that? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I hope she comes back. That's actually a good segue. I think I mentioned this. I'm doing a video on Lydia tomorrow, and that's exactly what that video is. Where is Lydia? When is she coming back? So stay tuned for that, and or stay tuned for that to get my full thoughts on that. I have a feeling that what we're going to see is next episode is the Alexandria attack. Episode 11, I have a feeling is going to be Lydia-centric. and we're gonna see what happened to Lydia. 12 Hilltop, 13 Michonne's final episode, 14, 15, 16 after. So there's something about or based on what we know so far about the episodes, I don't know what they're doing in episode 11. And the only thing that comes to my mind is it's a Lydia-centric episode because we haven't seen her. But I could be wrong, obviously. Rebecca Mendez, but Lydia can kill squirrels. Not as good as Daryl, though. But yeah, she could probably. Noah G75, if Alpha does have standards, then they are on the floor as low as possible. Yeah. I would say she has minimum standards. Noah G75, Lydia does come back because she has Henry's stick, and Carol was seen in a recent trailer with Henry's stick. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a great point. So maybe episode 11. I don't know if that scene with Carol holding or having that stick is in episode 10 or 11, but that could very well be the episode Lydia comes back. And maybe Carol goes after Lydia or finds Lydia and brings her back or something. It doesn't have to be like a Lydia-centric episode, but I think it's going to focus on Lydia. Planet Earth, I feel like Daryl knows that Alpha is the hunter, setting traps, and he was frustrated because Carol is falling for her traps. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not just Daryl. I think everyone knew it was a trap. Which brings the question, or raises the question, why did they follow her? But I think everyone knew that it was a trap. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this was Carol's fault. I want to say that again. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A, but the thing is, I understand why she's doing what she's doing because she's so pissed at Alpha over Henry, but still needs to get her shit together. Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that she has a right to feel the way she does, but at the same time, I feel like at this point, she should understand that this is getting people hurt and she should stop. It goes back to what Daryl said. We should fight for our survival or our future, not for revenge. And I think, like I said, that's powerful. And I think Carol needs to understand that to be able to move forward. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm just saying if I missed any comments. No. I have a Epic Zombie Killer. I have a strong feeling that since episode 15 is titled The Tower, that's when we get Gabe comic death. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can't be anything other than that. We're absolutely getting that scene in that episode based on that title. Noah Jink 75, yeah, I think Father Gabriel will be the next big death. Yeah, either Gabriel or Rosita. One of the two. Epic Zombie Killer, why are you skipping my comment? Yeah, I read the comment. I thought I got it, but I missed it. So I did go back. Sorry about that. Noah Jink 75, now I wonder if we will get Andrew's comic death or who will get Andrew's comic death. Now I wonder if we get Andrew's comic death and who will get it. Yeah, I think we'll get it this season. And one thing, there are rumors the finale is called A Certain Doom, which gives it away. That's the episode we're going to see that death. And in terms of who's going to get it, I would say at this point, two characters that I think could get it. I'm leaning more towards the second option, but either Carol or Ezekiel. But I think it'll be Ezekiel. But then at the same time, that defeats the purpose of the Ezekiel cancer story. And it's set up for the next story. So I'm 50-50. I don't think there's any other characters worthy of that death. If they give it to someone else, then it's going to be underwhelming, and I don't think they would have been worthy of that death, to be honest. I mean, who else can get it? They're not going to give it to Daryl. So who else can really get that? Maybe Gabriel. No, yeah, it's a tough one. I do think we're getting it, though. I absolutely do. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. I feel like we'll see Princess in episode 14. Could be. We know she's coming. We know that some of the images may have been from that scene. So we know it's happening. It could be 14. I think it makes sense for it to be 14 or 15 even. Epic Zombie Killer, but I think Alpha will die in episode 13. I just see that happening. Episode 13 is Michonne's final episode. So do they really want to put that together with Alpha's death? I mean, they could, but it might be, like, it might feel like everything is compact into an episode. And it might feel rushed, like both of those storylines together in one episode. But we'll have to wait and see. Rebecca Mendez, it could be Connie sacrificing herself. For the Andrea death, it could. It'll be a little underwhelming still, I think, compared to the comic version. Noah Jinx 75, yeah, they have to give Andrea's comic death to a character worthy of that death. Absolutely. Noah Jinx 75, well, 1013 is not a Michonne episode, so I don't see Alpha dying in that episode. Maybe 1012, it's so hard to tell at this point. I don't think it'll be 1012. That's too early, I think. I'm leaning towards 14 or 15. They could drag it and have it happen in the finale, but I don't think they'll do that. I think that they are going to definitely have the Whispers arc mostly done by the end of 15. Close to the beginning of 16 even. But I don't think that they'll have it so that the final scene in 16 is Alpha's death. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Epic Zombie Killer, yeah, it is getting confusing. Alpha has to die this half season. I'll be shocked if she lived to season 11. I don't think she will. I think that's too much. And why I say that is it'll feel like it's stretching the story at that point. And it'll feel like it's dragging the Whisperers arc in a way. Rebecca Mendez, 15 would be my guess. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards 15 as well. And one of the reasons is because 9:15 was the Pikes, so they could have everything go full circle. In 10:15, Alpha dies. That's the only reason I would say 15 over 14. But I think it'll be close to the end, but not at the end. Like, not in 16. No, I think 75. I think Alpha will still die before Beta, so let's see how that happens. I think so as well. I think Alpha's going to die in 15, most likely, maybe 14, maybe 16, but probably 15. And then Beta will die at the beginning of 16, or in 16 near the beginning, or mid in the middle of 16, and then that'll push us towards the next arc. Nova Jinx 75, maybe Alpha is the last Whisper, and she's killed as the final Whisper alive. They could do that, but I like the comic version more where the leader dies earlier. I like that version a little bit more. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm just hoping that the Commonwealth are better in the show because I dropped something. I don't even know where that went. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm just hoping that the Commonwealth are better in the show because I hated them in the comics. Yeah, the Commonwealth in the comics weren't the best. Like, if you think about it, going maybe as far back as No Way Out, in the comics, No Way Out was done better than the show. I think The Saviors was also done better in the comics than the show and All Out War. Whispers, I feel, from start to finish, the show is doing it better than the comics. Commonwealth, I'm hoping it'll be the same, where in the TV show they'll do it better than the comics. Noah Jinx 75, I hope when Commonwealth happens that Lydia and other B-listers get more story. Yeah, absolutely. We don't know if Lydia's gonna live that long. There's a chance they might kill her, so we'll have to wait and see, but I agree. Hopefully, with Michonne leaving and the story kind of calming down a little bit more, we'll see a lot more development from B-list characters. I'm not saying they should make it slow and character development all the way, but they should spend a little bit more time than they have before on B-list characters. I read this somewhere and I completely agree with it. Seasons 9, not so much 9, but maybe second half of 9 and then 10 has been biased, and it's favored characters like Daryl and Carol a lot more than anyone else. I 100% agree with that. And I hope that that changes with the Commonwealth story coming up. And I hope that after Michonne leaves and the story calms down, with Maggie coming back, we'll see the story more evenly spread out between the different characters. Epic Zombie Killer. Q&A hash, is it possible that Beta will live to season 11 and die in the first 3 episodes? I think it's likely that he'll die in 1101 at the beginning, but I don't think he'll get past episode 1 in season 11 if he makes it to season 11. I also think it's also entirely possible for him to die in 1016. I think I'm leaning more towards that, but I could also see him making it to 1101 and dying in that episode. Noah Jinx 75, the idea of the Commonwealth is amazing, but they didn't give it everything in the comics. Yeah, they definitely rushed a lot of it. And I hope they do it justice in the show. Rebecca Mendez, All Out War on the show is pretty dull in comparison, to be honest. Yeah, All Out War in the comics was a lot better. But Whisper's arc, up to this point, in the comics, I would say it's either neck and neck, or the show did it a lot better. They fleshed out Alpha and Beta a lot better than they did in the comics, I would say. Noah Jinx 75, All Out War was dragged out for too long. Daryl and Alpha's coming fight will be more bloody and bruises than every one-on-one fight that Rick and Negan had in All Out War. Absolutely. Speaking of the one-on-one fight between Alpha and Daryl should have looked like what he looks like, or what he's going to look like after his fight with Alpha, after his fight with Beta. Like, after Daryl and Beta's fight, it was like Daryl didn't even fight. He should have had a lot more bruises. He should have been bloodied. We didn't see that. So that's disappointing. That's one of the biggest disappointments I have from season 9, to be honest. Rebecca Mendez, Aaron, Jerry, Rosita, and a whole lot of others need more screen time. Aaron, yes. Jerry, absolutely yes. Rosita, could go both ways. I would say you're missing Cindy. Where the hell is Cindy? I would say she is definitely set up to be a bigger character, and they just didn't do anything with her. Also, I would say Alden, another one that was set up to be a bigger character. They haven't done much with him. Everyone from Magnus Group, the only people they've really kind of fleshed out in detail or in depth, I would say, is Connie and not really Luke that much. A little bit about Yumiko more. So Luke, I would say, another character they should concentrate on more. Eugene, not so much. They've done enough with him so far. But yeah, I do agree with you. The ones you mentioned are great options for characters to give more screen time to. Epic Zombie Killer, I definitely have confidence in Season 10. The first half was set up, and after Season 10, mid-season premiere, this half is gonna deliver. Yeah, I was hoping that they would kind of spread it out a little bit more, where Season 10's first half is not just the Cold War, and it has a little bit of Whisper War stuff in there. Like the way I think about it is they should stop like separating it. So this half season is going to be like this. This half season is going to be like this. I hope it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's more overlap and there's more complexities and there's more layers to the story. You know what I mean? So like what they could have done is it's a Cold War in Season 10's first half. Near the beginning, near the second part of the first half, we start seeing more skirmishes, more maybe isolated fights that raises the tension and makes it more and more like there's going to be a conflict. And then by the end of the half season, we know the war is on. And then the second half, it's full on war. And maybe there's a moment where the Whispers kind of hide, or what's the word? Retreat a little bit, and it's back to that kind of calm Cold War feel, and then it back or picks up again, something like that. That I think is more interesting and entertaining than just like this half season is like this half season is like this. You know what I mean? Rebecca Mendes, I agree the Whispers arc on the show has been better. Absolutely. Planet Earth, I feel like Beta may be acting irrational. He may be acting out of anger and wanting revenge. Yes. And I think he may be just a little bit jealous of Negan. Just a tiny bit. Noah Jinx 75. Maybe Daryl and Beta have a rematch and it gets more bloody. I think that's needed. And there's a chance it might happen. There's a chance they might skip it. If they do it, it'll lead to Beta's death. Like, there's no way that they're going to have another fight and for it not to lead to Beta's death. Because then it's a repeat and it's like, okay, what's the point of that? What was the point of that? Epic Zombie Killer, that doesn't make any sense. Beta fights Daryl and he walks away clean, whereas Alpha makes him bloody. That's kind of dumb. I agree with that. I totally agree. Noajik75, I definitely see Daryl and Aaron being the ones to take down Beta and kill him. Yeah, I did make a prediction that Gamma and Aaron are going to do it, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But you could have Daryl and Gamma, or Daryl, Gamma, and Aaron. Not 3-on-1, but maybe Gamma and Aaron are fighting, and maybe Daryl does the final blow or something like that. Or does the final kill. However you want to say it. NoahJink75, do you think we'll see a character gets Aaron's moment from the comics? The one where Beta stabbed him in the guts? Maybe not Aaron, but someone else. I mean, it was not small, but it was small enough of a scene or moment for it not to impact the story too much. But I think, yeah, they could give that to someone. Doesn't really matter who they give it to, really. It could be Father Gabriel, for all we know. Yeah, they could give it to Gabriel, but then again, if they're gonna have Gabriel have his comic death, then it doesn't make sense. But you get the point. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A, that's my problem with Season 7. It is, or it was all set up, all that war, but there was no payoff because the war sucked. Whereas Season 10, we're getting payoff. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. But then again, like I said, even this format, where we are getting a payoff, I feel like it should have been more up and down. Like it shouldn't have been, or it should not be like first half is just set up for the war, second half is just the war. I don't think that that's entertaining because it's expected. I feel like it's more interesting and exciting and entertaining for it to have its ups and downs, like I mentioned earlier. But I could see if someone likes it the way it is, where it's just set up and just payoff. But I think it's better to have a overlap between them and have a combination of both of these stories in first half and the second half. All right, we've been going for an hour, 30 minutes or 20 minutes. I think that's the longest time we've gone for a Q&A. Some great questions, some great engagement, a lot of people on tonight, which is great. I absolutely love it. Some great questions, some great discussions. We're going to be ending it here though. But thanks everyone for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was entertaining for you. What was I going to say? Oh, thank you everyone for your support and your sharing your opinions and thoughts. I appreciate it. But we'll have to end this video. But obviously we're going to have another Q&A on Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So you can join us then and we'll pick back up with this conversation about the war and everything that's going to be happening in the second half. Next, or tomorrow, stay tuned for 2 videos that I'm going to be posting. One is just looking at photos for the next episode. And one is talking about Lydia and where she is. So that's 2 videos that are going to be coming up. Stay tuned for those. And then Sunday, our stream or Q&A stream. And then the reaction Sunday night. The breakdown of the trailer Sunday night as well. And then we're going to pick back up with the same order of videos that we had for 1009. So same videos is going to be done or are going to be done for 1010. So stay tuned for all of those. Planet Earth, thank you guys. Loved this talk. Have a great night. Have a great night, Planet Earth. Glad you could join. Hope you enjoyed. Epic Zombie Killer, bye Ash. See you next stream. Bro, thank you for joining Epic Zombie Killer. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next stream. Rebecca Mendez, thanks everyone. Have a great night. Have a great night. Thank you, Rebecca Mendez. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks everyone for your support. I'll see you guys soon.